It is possibly the biggest game week in the entire season for FPL. So we thought we'd come to you this evening with a pure FPL episode. We will be talking double game weeks, triple captains, potentially some of your other chips, as well as wildcard strategies. Let's get it. Here we go. Hello and welcome to the Lost in Possession podcast. As I said, we are going to go pure FPL today with potentially the biggest game week coming up this week. We're going to talk all things strategy and also the current state of all our teams. Without further ado, let's get into it.
First things first, we've got to look at our current league and see who's top of it at the moment. If you're in this, well done for you. I've scraped the top 10, literally in 10th. But at the moment, Ryan Lewis is almost running away with the league. 1,489 points. Well done to you. And if you're in the top 10, well done. Let's see if you can win the league and win that shirt of your choice, as we previously advertised. But let's
quick
get
shout
into...
I was going to say, actually, quick shout out while we're on the topic. So Sahal Kassam, our last year winner, he got the shirt of his choice, currently in fourth. So he's going for back-to-back. And if he carries on that form, he'll be getting probably a new football shirt collection on courtesy of us. So shout out to Sahal as well.
Absolutely. So let's just quickly go into sort of our current teams. We'll start off with mine. I'm currently having quite a good game week. My bench is actually looking very nice, where I've got Archer and Gabriel giving me, 19 points. That's not what I want to see when Watkins has just got 2 points. I wish he didn't play, to be perfectly honest, and I wish Palmer doesn't play on Monday night. I'm currently on 72 points, but at the moment, overall rank of 266,000. Not too bad. I'm aiming for a sort of top 100k, top 50k. So I'm close enough, but not quite exactly where I want to be. Moving on to Jordan's team. Jordan, I can leave that with you.
Yeah, so similar. Well, I say similar. I've got significantly less points, so maybe not. I took the decision to hit my wild card. I had a frustrating few weeks, let's say. Again, you probably saw from some of our earlier FPL episodes, I was aiming for a top 100k finish, and about 6 weeks after that, it's all gone to pot. So currently ranked 1.2 mil, which is pretty embarrassing, I can't lie. So a little bit of frustration, hit the wild card, and I'm still blaming you, Jamie, for now, because I've got no one else to blame. About 5 minutes before the deadline, gives me the KDB breaking news. So I did have De Bruyne in this team, and no Trent, and it's not panned out well. So literally, the one time the app was working, normally 10, 15 minutes before the deadline, cuts off the app. And in this case, I wish that had been the case. So yeah, very, very last minute, swapped out KDB for Silva, who then also didn't start, which was fantastic. Brought in Trent, got the assist, and then went off at halftime. So for a wildcard team, it's been a disappointing week. However, I think I'm in quite a good place for the next game week, but we'll have to wait and see, I think, on that.
Yeah, and moving on over to Reese's team. Reese, run it through.
Yep, as somebody who's never even said he'd bother to get the 100,000, not even aim for the 100 million, he's doing all right. Maguire put in at the last sort of minute after being on the bench, got himself an assist against Villa, so that's nice. Matty Cash hasn't done anything for ages, so I don't know why he's still there. Yeah, it's not a bad team. Diego Jota's on fire. My midfield's very attacking. It's paying off so far. Haaland being back is a bonus. I think Solanke will probably drop off a little bit now. I expect Bournemouth to slow down their momentum. But it's all right. I had a wobbly start because someone like myself forgot to change the team for a couple of weeks. So it's meant I've been clawing back lost ground, but I've been doing well. I've been clawing back ground quite a lot and scoring quite highly, particularly in our individual leagues. Obviously, it might be too little too late, but this is the time of the season where things start to click properly. So you never know.
Can we just quickly just touch on Gordon? Again, if you're not already following us on TikTok, please do. We'll include the details in the video link. But did a TikTok on the whole Gordon debate. So not Gordon himself, but Eddie Howe caused a lot of controversy this weekend by basically saying in the press conference, Gordon hadn't trained all week, essentially implying that there was a 0% chance that he would actually start or play. Lo and behold, Saturday comes around, Gordon started. So obviously he only ended up getting 2 points, so it's not the end of the world. But it would have been quite funny if he had got a big points haul, because near enough anyone who used their wild card, myself included, or players who had him, either subbed him out or sold him on the wild card. So I think that brings a whole.
I was one of them who I didn't use my wild card, but I transferred him out and eventually took a 4-point hit after seeing Walker wasn't starting as well for Trent. So I took out Gordon unnecessarily because of what Eddie Howard said. So sometimes you've just got to ignore the information.
Yeah,
which is utterly ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, and you get these leaks as well, as we just said on for me, the one you saw for KDB. And actually, if I just ignored that leak, I would have been in a slightly better position because I would have had De Bruyne, not had Silva, and not had Trent, who's now injured. So maybe there's a lesson in this. Ignore the leaks, stick to your guns. I don't know. But yeah, thought it was quite a funny one.
So let's move on to obviously this game week, which is the double game week for 4 of the teams. Oh, wrong tab. This double game week is there for Man City, Brentford, Liverpool, and Luton. Now, at the moment, I think the recommended is having 3 City, having 3 Liverpool. City have 2 home games, one against Chelsea, one against Brentford. Liverpool have away to Brentford and at home to Luton. And the other game for Luton is home to United and away to Liverpool. Tough fixtures. Do you two want 3 of all these 4 teams, or just 3 of the sort of City, Liverpool, and maybe 1 or 2 of the others?
Well, for me, City and Liverpool, yes. Again, based on the team I just showed, it might be with the Trent injury. I might have to end up taking another hit here, which is a bit of a nightmare situation. But for me, you have to, if you can, if you're not using, obviously I know wildcard you can't do it at the same time as triple captain, but I think you have to be tripling up if you can feasibly do it on these game weeks. I guess the next debate is who's got the better 2 fixtures, because that might determine, if you think City have got the better fixtures, maybe go 3 City, 2 Liverpool, or vice versa. I mean, who would you guys say has the better 2 fixtures out of City and Liverpool?
Liverpool do on paper. You don't know what Brentford team are going to turn up, so that might play into a factor. In Luton at home, they should be comfortably. Both of these games are something I think Darwin Núñez would probably thrive in. But look, it's not bad for City either. But again, you don't know what Chelsea team is going to turn up, so that could be a bit of a challenge for them. But they're at home, so you have to take that as a City win in all probability. And Brentford, like I said, you don't really know how unpredictable Brentford could be. If they beat Liverpool, they'll lose to City. So you definitely will be banking on goals at least. But I think Liverpool, with the goals they score, you'd probably favour Liverpool that in these 2 games.
Well, I think obviously you've got to look at the teams. Chelsea and Luton are the difference, really, and obviously you'd back Chelsea over Luton in terms of who's a stronger side, even in Chelsea's dire sort of situations they've been in for the past year and a bit, which Jordan, all about. However, obviously two home games is pretty big for City, and especially in FPL terms, you normally want your players to be playing at home, especially if you're going to be using triple captains or having a triple up, a double up of these players. So really, I think if you don't have three-man City, you're going to miss out more than if you have treble Liverpool. And the only reason for that is because of the game week after, Liverpool have a blank game week because they're playing in the Carabao Cup final. So that's sort of why the double has come about for Liverpool and Luton. They've managed to get their fixture in, whereas City and Brentford were off because of the Club World Cup before. But yeah, with Liverpool having the blank the game week after causes a lot of headaches because you've got four teams missing. You've got Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, and Luton. And at the moment, people have had Richarlison and Doggy or Porro. They've had Palmer. So these are all extra players that you've got. So if you then add in three Liverpool, you've got a massive headache of possibly taking hits. And I think that could be a big issue. So to avoid the -4s coming up, you may not triple up on Liverpool, even if you think they've got better fixtures.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. And a lot of people have Palmer as it is this game week who haven't wildcarded. And you basically after the Palace game, and obviously full disclosure, it's probably fairly obvious at this point, we are filming this before Palace Chelsea. So regardless of how that goes, I think either way you pretty much have to take Palmer out away to City in a blank game week.
The problem with taking Palmer out is a lot of people, including myself, I bought him very, very cheap. So in terms of squad value, I'd lose a lot of money if I wanted to bring him back in at a later date. Now, to be honest, Chelsea are not setting the world alight. So I do feel like if I didn't bring him back in, I'm not going to drop down massive ranks. But that can be a massive factor of why you'd keep Palmer, for example, and then not have a triple up of Liverpool and a few Spurs players.
I think he's so cheap though. I mean, he's still, I think, 5.6 mil, which is just for what he's done. I know we've been bad, but he has been, the best player.
5.9 mil.
It's 5.9 now. So he has gone up a lot actually. But I guess the good thing is, like, for me, I'm looking at it now. I've used my wild card. He's cheaper than any of my midfielders, so I know when I want to bring him back in, it's not that much of a sweat. But I do think that's important because even looking at our fixtures, I mean, they're not brilliant even after that. So I'd probably say, regardless, you do want to get rid of Palmer.
Reece, how many sort of City, Liverpool players are you looking to have for the next game week?
I might not add as much as I've already got now. Just because you said it's with that gap, I risk losing too many players over those sort of couple of weeks. But yeah, you claw them back. But I'm in a situation where I need points now, so I've already got Jota, Foden, and Haaland. I probably won't tease that a little bit as much at this stage in time. And, I think if anything, I'm probably just going to look ahead at the next double game week instead.
I think that's personally, I think that's too risky because you got. I know what you're saying to Jamie's point about the Liverpool blanking, but I think you want at least 4 or 5 at the very minimum, I'd say, because these are two massive double game weeks. So in my head, the way I'd look at it is get to 4 or 5 between City and Liverpool players, and even if, let's say, you end up having 10 players in the one with the blanks, you actually still probably benefit overall because you've had the double points. So you could look at it that way, even if you're going to take a -4, that actually the benefit does still outweigh the cost, even if you end up with 10 players. So I'd personally go for Maurice if you can for this next game week. At least get to 4 or 5 between the two teams. 6 maybe is a bit. You might cause yourself a few problems with 6.
So with the sort of City and Liverpool players, we're saying we want these players. Who are your top three for each team? So we'll go with Jordan. Jordan, say what your top three Liverpool are.
So, well,
Even
pre,
if you don't have them, let's just say you've got
yeah,
ultimate money. You don't know who's starting. That's the issues that you've got. But who would you
yeah.
say who should be fit for them?
Well, the problem is Salah, and that's a point of contention. It's not clear where he stands in terms of coming back or not. But so I'm going to ignore Salah for now. I still think the three I have, and again now we've got the Trent injury to throw in the mix. So I'd still say Darwin, Jota, and Trent. But you've now got the Trent injury to look at. Rumours are it could be 2 months. I'm not sure how strong. That's not from a good source so far. But if he's out for 2 months, he has to go. Obviously. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair enough. Reese, what about you for, let's say, your top three City FPL options?
I mean, Pep Roulette does always play a factor.
Yeah,
You sometimes don't know who's going to start. I think if we start at the back, personally, I think Carl Walker is undroppable if you want to put defender in. I think he's proven that when he doesn't play, City do struggle. And at 33, 34, he's still picking up points. Yes, he's not in the hundreds. He's not doing as well as Trent, but he's Mr. Consistent. So if you're looking for that consistency, you could put him in and he is a cheap option at 5.5 mil. So he would do a job for you. But of course, you've got to be looking more at attack for City. You know, Foden and Haaland have been, played very well at the weekend. Foden as well with the hat trick the week before that. So I'd probably say that Foden's probably going to be nailed on to start most of the games going forward. And then Haaland, of course, is going to be up front as well and get you goals. I don't think there's anything wrong with keeping Alvarez in your team either, because he does play on the wing sometimes. So again, he's going to get you goals. If not, you can leave him on the bench and he will swap with Haaland. Like I said, Pep Roulette does change things, but they're probably the three players I look at. I think they're going to get you something. But of course, you can't rule out De Bruyne either. He's been in fine form since he's been back. But to me, Haaland should be a guaranteed starter in your team.
I
yeah, I
think
think no one can question Haaland in that one. I don't think you were going to question that, Jordan,
no,
before
no,
you.
no, no. I was going to say with the defender, like even Carl Walker being undroppable, like he just got dropped. So you know, it's just like you can't predict it.
But then do you
Hmm.
think because of that, he's then going to start? So to be fair, City do
Yeah,
have the game at Copenhagen midweek. So this is why I think De Bruyne was on the bench, Silva was on the bench, Walker was on the bench, is because we had a Champions League game up midweek. Now you can say, oh, it's only Copenhagen. But I know what Pep's thinking. Pep's want going, right, we're going to go there. We want to batter them and then not have to worry about the second round, second fixture
Yeah,
at
he was
home.
probably arrested. If, like I said, if you look how consistent he's been for City,
Yeah,
he might not get all you the goals and assists, but he's going to give you out of the match performance. So clean sheets as well. Your clean sheet bonus with him staying in defence is always a good one as well. You know, yes, like you said, he was on the bench against Everton, but they can afford to rest him against Everton, I think. But again, that's one of the things with the defenders is you can look at who they can afford to rest. But when it comes to the crunch part of the season, he's probably going to play all the time. I mean, this guy don't get injured, does he? He's 33, 34. He's a machine. So
problem
yeah.
is,
The only problem is City haven't kept many clean sheets this season.
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
That's the problem. But to be honest, not many teams are at all. So like, even if we look towards the Liverpool with the Trent, we're only picking Trent for his attacking options.
Yeah,
Really, like it's not. These teams aren't keeping clean sheets, and they're the ones at the top of the table. Really. But I'd say probably my three for City would be Haaland, De Bruyne, Foden. Just go for that full on attack because defensively we've not kept many clean sheets. But I do think if you are going for a City defender, Walker is probably the one who's more likely to get you an extra few points for an assist than say a Diaz or a Stones. That's the sort of advantage I'd have for there. So okay, we've said City and Liverpool enough. What about the other two game weeks? Brentford and Luton. Are there any players you're looking at you might want to bring in for either?
Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
Ivan.
He's the standout. He's the standout there. If you're looking at Luton, they've got, I like to call them, the sort of reliable men. Adebayo and Morris can cause a bit of a handful, and it might be the sort of game he would score in. But yeah, I think Ivan Toney's got to be your standout pick.
Yeah, I think he's the only option for Brentford you will consider. Flecken maybe for points of saving, but you don't really want to make your transfer on a keeper. So I'd kind of wouldn't bother with him. Any Luton players? I think, Jordan, you have one in your team.
Yeah, Doughty. Obviously a defender, 4.6 mil, I believe. And the benefit with him is one, he's very attacking, plays as a wing back. Even the weekend just gone, I think he created 9 big chances or big opportunities, which I think is the most for any defender in for a while. Don't quote me on that. That's not a great stat, but
that did not sound like a quote.
It sounded like I was making it up as I go along, but no, I'm pretty sure he created nine big opportunities this weekend in the game. So yes, it's Luton, but if there's one guy you want, it's a defender who's attacking. So I'd throw Doughty in the mix.
Yeah, Barkley as well.
Yeah, Barkley was one who I think I saw a stat of when he's on the pitch for something I can't remember the actual numbers, but it's something stupid like at 16 out of the 19 goals that Luton have scored, Barkley's been on the pitch. So when he's not on the pitch, they don't score, and it's not like Barkley's played every single game either. So he's a big part of that team.
Yeah,
and I'd say sort of finally with the double game week, are we any of us using our chips this weekend?
yes.
Jordan?
Yes. Yeah, triple captain, 100%.
Decided on who? Because
No.
Liverpool have got the better fixtures, but the sort of obvious choice is probably Erling Haaland. But if you're preferring someone's fixtures, do you go for them, such as a Darwin or a Jota?
Yeah, so this is my dilemma. I think Haaland is probably the most logical choice. 2 home fixtures. We're saying Chelsea could be a tough fixture, but if you went and beat us 3-1 and Haaland got a hat trick, would anyone be that shocked? No. Again, Brentford. Just going back to Liverpool. So looking, Brentford away, they made it tough for you for maybe 40 minutes, and then collapsed. So what I'm thinking is, could Liverpool go and do the same where they have, what was it, 15 odd plus, shots on target? Because if that's the case, then for me, maybe I'm considering a Darwin Núñez. But stats wise, in terms of the two clubs, so fairly obvious for City, but Haaland averages the most shots on target per 90 for Man City, and ironically enough, the shots on target per game or per 90 minutes, I'm pretty sure Darwin actually has higher stats. So I would say at the minute it's out of Darwin and Haaland for me, but I've definitely not decided, and I'm definitely open to influence on that choice.
Reese, are you using any of yours?
Personally, no. I think I probably should. And I do agree. I think Darwin, with Pep Roulette in favour, Darwin is guaranteed to start. I wouldn't be shocked if Haaland was put on the bench against Brentford just to rest him, because Alvarez is more than capable of delivering in a game like that. I wouldn't be too shocked. And against Chelsea, it's going to be tough. Yeah, he's either going to bang a hat trick or he's going to get you the one goal, or completely disappear. We don't, I find that's too much of a risk for me because I'm someone who needs to claw points back. I'm someone who looks at City playing a team middle of March that's got nothing to play for as my better time to play that sort of triple captain. But Núñez is going to get chances against Luton, and he's going to get chances against Brentford. If he gets one goal in each game, to me, he's delivered. You know, he is going to be guaranteed to start. Jota is probably the informed man, but if Salah somehow quickly recovers or plays, I have no doubt that there's going to be some rotation between him and Salah. So, personally, I'm going to avoid it. But I think it is a sensible move to also use it, especially if you want to pick up your points.
You've got to use a chip. Even if you don't want to use triple captain, I think you've got to use a chip in this week. Like, it's such a good opportunity with 4 teams having a double. And looking ahead, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't see another, at the minute at least, another game week where there's 4 teams with a double game week.
No, but there will be later on in the season. There will be double game weeks coming up because of the FA Cup fixtures, and at the moment, games haven't been postponed and rearranged because they don't know who's gone through yet. So we won't know until the next games are through, where a lot of teams could blank and then get rearranged fixtures, and then we could have a massive double game week. But then for that, you could even use a bench boost. So there's still options there. But with my chip for the week, I'm certain it's Haaland, it's triple captain. I'm not considering anyone else unless there's Pep makes a comment saying he's got injured. I've got to watch the Copenhagen game midweek. If he gets injured in that, then I'm up in the air. But at the moment, it's on Haaland, it's triple captain. I've got no question about it. I think Darwin is an option, but I also think Darwin got dropped against Arsenal. So I still think he's got some slight rotation risk. Jota has it as well. And Diaz as the sort of front three that played yesterday. I don't think anyone's undroppable from the front line. And yes, City do have Pep Roulette. You know, I do my own series on TikTok for that reason. So it's just I just think I'm just going to go with the boring option of picking Haaland, and then I can double celebrate when he scores a hat-trick versus Chelsea because I can laugh at you, Jordan. And he's my triple captain. That's what I kind of hope.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a weird situation because if it's essentially, if you've got a player and then you don't triple captain them, you then don't want them to score, because in the way I'm looking at it, and to throw a curveball in, where you're ranked at the minute, top, I think 260, wherever it is, you might as well go for the safe option with Haaland. For me, I'm ranking at 1.2 mil, going, I need to catch someone up here. So what I might do is go for a slightly more rogue pick, like maybe Darwin, maybe Jota, on the basis of sort of, blindly praying that Haaland has a bad couple of games in the attempt that I catch up. So I'm probably, again, I'll change my mind probably 5 times this week, but I think that might be better if you're not ranked that well. Go with a rogue pick, try and get back in the game. And then, just delete your team otherwise. Great.
I think as well. I think as well, make a decision on when these quarterfinals of the FA Cup are going to be played. Because if City and Chelsea do get through, for example, City's game would be Brighton away. Maybe make that judgment accordingly on who is going to play who, because you might fancy changing it around then.
Well, that just about wraps us up. As always, we want to hear from you. Like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill.